is, oh, that's not even on the recording because I just pressed play on the recording. So sad, but now you can see my shirt, so okay. I forgot I had people put in the chat some funny things about Star Wars. And I should have, someone said something about Princess Leia having buns, right? Like in her hair. And I was like, oh, I should have worn my hair like that today. Yeah. Wouldn't that have been a great idea? Okay, but first of all, I think I would have a blinding headache if I could actually get my hair to stay like that. So never mind on the buns. Okay. Let's get back to tree diagrams. So like I said, some of you picked rooms, some of you picked teams, some of you did not. Do you guys remember your team numbers? That might be excessive for you to remember your team numbers. Anyone remember their team numbers? I mean, you could look at what's it called? Canvas right now. So not your team numbers from my class from forever ago. Oh yes, Sunita, you are on team 1. Good job. Okay, so I just created 7 rooms. Pick the room that you were. And if you're not sure, like here, I'll tell you. Sunita, Brianna, and Elena are room 1. Okay, so I can probably put you there, but sometimes it takes me a long time. Okay, you're in room 1. Room 2 is Vanessa and Betty, which I don't think Betty's here yet, right? So I'll have to put her there in a minute. Room 3 is nobody. No, room 3 is, I just put people in there. Room 3 is Kelsey, Jessica. Not who I'm clicking. People are coming and then changing my thing. Michaela and Jessica. Okay, room 4, McKenna and Madison. Room 5. Oh my, that was terrifying. I don't know what happened. There's nobody yet. Room 6 is nobody yet. Room 7 is Tyler and Hannah. All right, so whichever room you want to be in now that I assigned all of those people, you should privately message them right now and say, can I be on your team? If you don't care, just privately message me, I don't care, and I'll put you in a room. Okay? So I'll give you the next 30 seconds to do that. Good job, Karina. Good move. Love that. If you want me to pick, just tell me. Oh, nice. Thanks, Sydney. Anyone else? I love when I get to pick. Okay, I think I picked everyone. So now you're in your rooms. I'm gonna, I think. Okay, so let's back up. So everybody know what you're supposed to be doing. This is what I want you to do in your rooms. And now these will be your groups. I just have to adjust them on Canvas. If you can put yourself in it if you want, but I can do it in a minute too while you're working. You're going to create a tree diagram using the shapes that are linked right here. Let me put this in the chat for you. You don't have to use these shapes. I mean, you can use these exact shapes, or you could just put it in whatever. You know, you could use your own images. Then remember, you're doing a tree diagram. Quadrilaterals at the top, everybody else underneath. Appropriately draw lines to connect shapes. It's harder than you think. Definitely have the name and a picture of the shape. Then you can also put attributes. I'd put a lot on my tree diagram because this would be a great study tool for me, but that's just me. You're only going to have about 10 minutes to work in class, and then it's due tomorrow night, but you can keep modifying it after. I would say get the doc ready, you know, however you're doing it. If you're doing a Jamboard, a document, whatever, I don't care. Okay, everybody good? Okay. I opened all your rooms, get to work.
Are
Let me
we
know if
only
you see anything.
submitting one tree per group?
One tree per group. Yes. One tree per group. Great question, Sunita. All right. We were just talking about how slow the week's going. Is it going slow for anyone else? Yeah.
It's barely Tuesday, and I'm already feel like I should be halfway through.
Yeah, I agree. I was talking to someone on the phone yesterday and I almost said, have a great weekend. It was Monday. Terrifying. That's a bad sign. Yeah, but it's okay. We're going to get so much done. Yeah, when you guys, I was checking your notebooks and you were writing your reflections and you were like, oh, how much stuff have we learned? We've learned a gajillion vocabulary words, right? Yeah, it's true. We have, I mean, that's not an official mathematical term that we learned, but we have learned a lot of them. Sydney, I'm right there with you. I don't even know what day it is anymore, so we're just going with it. Okay, so here's our objectives for today. We're going to start talking about 1, 2, and 3 dimensions, including angle measure, area, perimeter, circumference, volume, surface area, and the Pythagorean theorem. I don't think we do the Pythagorean theorem until maybe later this week. And then attributes still. So look at your standards. We need to be able in 2nd grade measure the length of an object by selecting and using appropriate tools, rulers, meter sticks, yardsticks, and measuring tapes. 2nd grade. That's pretty young to be using those tools. So make sure that you thought, oh, I thought I could teach math because I knew 2nd grade math. 2nd grade math is all measurement, so be careful. Measure the length of an object twice using different standard length units for the 2 measurements. Describe how the 2 measurements relate to the size of the unit chosen. Understand that depending on the size of the unit, the number of units for the same length varies. So what does that all mean? Could you measure something in inches and feet, the same object, and centimeters and millimeters, right? These are relationships that they need to be able to do. Estimate length using units of inches, feet, centimeters, and meters. I don't know about you. I'm the worst estimator on earth because nobody made me do it as a kid. Yeah. So if you ask me how far it is from here to my window, I'd be like, I don't know, 20 feet. There's no way it's 20 feet. I'm sure it's not 20 feet. I'm in my bedroom. Do you really think my bedroom is that long? Probably not. So, but I'm just bad at it because I didn't practice it as a young student. So these are important skills that you're instilling. Measure to determine how much longer one object is than another, expressing the length difference in terms of a standard unit length. This is a nice one in 2nd grade. Measure how tall people are or how long your desk is compared to something else, right? And compare our height, right? We can do that. And then in 3rd grade, look what we do in 3rd grade. Measure and estimate liquid volumes and masses of objects using metric units. Excludes compound units as cubic centimeters, just so you know, and finding geometric volume of a container. So they don't do that, but we do talk about volume and estimation. Add, subtract, multiply, or divide one-step word problems involving masses or volumes that are given in the same unit. Excludes multiplicative comparisons, which is fine. We know what multiplicative comparison is from 256. How many times as much? That's a multiplicative comparison. So we got some heavy duty math in 2nd and 3rd grade, right? So don't be thinking it's not. So this is probably one of my favorite tasks. Measurement is sometimes thought of as a simple task. What is measurement? Write a definition for measurement. What does it mean to measure something? Get it ready in the chat. Yes? Get it ready in the chat. I'll give you about a minute to write it, and then we'll go from there. Are you ready? I need a few more seconds. My definition just kept getting more and more generic, right? I was like, oh, well, wait, what if you measure something else? So yeah. Okay, let's put them in the chat. 3, 2, 1, go. Read them all. It'll take you a little bit. Oh, Madison's right in there. Like she knows my next question. She really likes Jessica's and McKenna's. So let's read Jessica's. Find the amount or quantity of a certain item, like weight, or to find the amount of an item's characteristic, length, weight, length, width, height, area, volume. I have to find McKenna's. Sometimes I get lost in my chat. I'm sure you do too. The value, size, or score of something is a measurement. Did any of you go, oh, I guess I was only thinking of length, right? When I was measuring something, because we can measure something's temperature. Did you think of that? Yeah, that's a measurement, right? In degrees. So I like when you guys start talking about units, you know, or something to compare it to. So Amanda's, let's read Amanda's. Measurement is a number attribute to an object. Yeah, it needs to be pretty generic, right, Amanda? Right? Because measurement means so many things. Now, you guys gave me a lot of examples of things, right? Like how much something weighs, how tall it is, how wide it is, the size of the object, right? When you want to find the width or the length. So do you see how this was a harder game than you thought? If I asked you to tell me how to measure something, you would be better off, right? Because that's a process or a procedure. Well, you find something to measure it with, right? That has the same units. So yeah. So look how generic mine is. A number that shows the size or amount of something. Now, it usually has a disclaimer on there that's in reference to some other standard measurement, right? When I measure something, okay, tell me if you've done this before. I want to move, you know, this bookcase over to another part of the room. So you do something like this. And you're like, oh, it's this long from here to my fingertips. Now I'm going to walk over to the other part of the room and I'm going to go, okay, where would it be here? Tell me you've never done that. Have you done that before? Yeah. That's my husband's favorite day when I pick moving furniture day. Oh, good, Bethel, I'd like to use the shoelace before. I do this. My arms are the best measuring tool around. Yeah. So I do it all the time. Then what's funny is my husband goes, you know, there's a tool for that. And I'm like, yeah, can you guys still hear me? Am I good? Okay. So, and then I'm like, oh yeah, where is the measuring tape? And he's like, it's in my toolbox. It's not in his toolbox. If it was in his toolbox, I would have used it. It's not there. And then guess who gets blamed for moving it? Me. I didn't move it. I probably did, actually. Probably did move it when I was trying to measure something. Yikes. Okay. So let's look. Oh my gosh, is that the cutest cat you've ever seen? Yeah, it's pretty cute. It's a little tiny kitten named Skittles. So if I asked you, get this ready in the chat, what is the distance from ear to ear on Skittles' head? That's the cat's name, Skittles. Measured in feet. Measured in feet. Yes? Think about it. You can just get your answer ready in the chat. You don't have to put your justification in the chat, but I might call on you for your justification. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to give you about, I don't know, 40 seconds. Okay, are you guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I see a lot of the same answers. I see some different answers. So this is not the easiest question that we give. So here's the, when you ask kids this, you get all kinds of answers too, right? Obviously, when we ask adults this, it happens as well. So the first answer I usually get, I see in the chat, 3 inches, right? So that's the first answer I usually get from kids, 3 inches, because they just go 1, 2, 3, and they're done. But the question said in feet, yeah? So then they have to think more. Okay, 3 inches is what part of a foot? Or they just start crying and quit, right? That could happen. Or do you think any kid has ever answered 7? Think any kid has ever said 7 inches? Yeah, very common. What happened? How'd they get 7?
Isn't it because you're not starting at 0?
Yeah,
That's wrong.
they just look at the number at the end of the ruler and they're like, dumb. Have you ever tried to show kids how to measure with a ruler? Yeah, good luck to you second grade teachers. That's a finder. There's a lot of you in here who were like, second grade, they're so cute. Yeah, till you try to measure with a device. It is a nightmare. Yeah, so be careful. And another thing is, that's why you have to show them a scenario like this so they think about it, right? Oh, I need to pay attention to where it starts and where it ends. Okay, so it should be 1/4 of a foot. Now, sometimes we have things that look like this. So it should be 1/4 of a foot. You could have put 25/100, right, of a foot if you wanted to. So when you look at this, you can draw pictures, and kids really relate well to pictures, especially when you're measuring length. So if you know there are 12 inches in 1 foot, do you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, and right here at the end would be 12, 1 foot. So if I look, okay, if I have 3 inches, how many groups of 3 inches can I have? Well, I have 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and 4 groups. So if I have 1 group of 3 inches out of 4 groups in 1 foot, then it must be 1/4. Yeah, because I have 4 copies of 3 inches in 1 foot. Mathematically, some of you would write something like this: 3 inches times, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. A lot of you would write something like this, and then you would see that happen. So you would say that's 3/12 of a foot, or 1/4 of a foot. If you took chemistry, you might have had a different strategy, right? Did anyone do those boxes with chemistry? Some people do those, right? I can't do it because I was never taught that. So then I always do it wrong. But if you want to tell me how to do it, or if you want to write on my screen, you totally could. Some people like proportional reasoning. So they will say 3 inches over 12 inches, and this is 1 foot. So this would be what? Yeah, I remember our proportional reasoning from 256. I don't care, just make sure you know how to explain it. If you just want to explain it in pictures, that's fine too, right? I'm fine with pictures. Okay, here's the next kitty. This is the same person's cat, not my cat. So Storm jumped 3 feet before falling asleep. How many inches did Storm jump? If Storm jumped 3 feet, think about how you would show that. Okay. I know you can find the answer. All right, who wants to explain it to me? How you did it, how you're justifying or how you're showing it?
I can go.
Perfect.
So what I did was 3 feet. We know 1 foot is 12 inches, and we have 3 groups of 1 foot. So we have 12 inches 3 times because we want equal groups.
Nice.
12 inches 3 times is 36 inches.
I thought
Yeah,
it was fun that like you could maybe show a classroom. Is that okay if I share that? Or
what do you mean? What, say it again?
like if you were teaching this in a class, like how you would show it. Like for me, I would tape like 3 rulers because most rulers are 12 inches. Be like, look, this is how far the cat jumped. And then I'd let everyone look at the rulers taped together.
Exactly. Very nice. Maybe you would have a yardstick, right? Because a yardstick is 3 feet. There are 3 feet in a yard. Did you know that? Some of you are like, no, I don't know what that is. That's like pretend. Okay, yeah. So, but visual is very helpful. Karina, I agree. If you have them live in front of you, and they can show you, right? They'll show you. And they might even come up with that same strategy where they'll go get 3 rulers and show you how they would stack them up. That's a great one. You can do it like this as well. I like Amanda's strategy. Very nice use of 3 copies of 1 foot. And so there's 3 copies of 12 inches. Therefore, there's 36 inches. Excellent. And Betty put it in the chat. Very nice. Okay. So a lot of students really struggle showing their work on conversion. Yeah. And you have conversion problems on your final. So make sure you can do conversion problems. So I have a document in OneNote, and it's a conversion sheet. And I'll put it in the chat right now so you have it. And I want you to fill in as many of the ones you can see on the screen as you can. Okay, from memory, not from Google. Just in case you thought I meant from Google Town. I did not mean that. I meant from you. Like how much could you fill in? Like for example, Amanda helped us already. We could put 12 here. And I just helped you with this one, right? 3 feet in 1 yard. Okay, see if you can fill in any more of those. I'll give you like 20 whole seconds without Google. And if you can't fill them in, I'm not judging you. It's fine, right? No worries there. All right. Just quick, tell me any of the ones you can fill in. Just tell me one of them that you can fill in. Oh my gosh, nobody knows any of them, or you don't want to play my game. What's up?
Are there 2,000 pounds in a ton?
Okay, 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. Love it. And 16 ounces in 1 pound. Nice. Anything else? Did anyone know how many feet there are in a mile? Who knew it? No one in this class knows it. Oh, Amanda does. What is it, Amanda?
Isn't it 5,280 feet?
It is. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, a serious question. How did you know it? Is it because you're a math tutor?
Yeah.
Or,
I don't
okay.
remember it from school.
Okay. See, I love the honesty. I usually have one student that knows it, and it's because something, either their teacher drilled it into their head as a little kid. I had a couple of those. Or they're from Denver, Colorado. Why would I say they're from Denver, Colorado? I loved Amanda's face. She's like, I have no idea. That was the weirdest statement I've ever heard in this class so far, and that's saying something. Does anyone know what Denver is known as?
Because it's a Mile High City.
It's the Mile High City. There's bars in downtown Colorado called the 5280. Yeah. So if you are from Denver, I love Bethel's expression too. She's like, don't believe you. It's a lie. It's not a lie. I promise you I've been to Denver. So, and my nieces and nephews grew up in Denver. And so it's common knowledge there. Since it's the Mile High City, they know it's 5,280. Weird? Yeah, it is weird. Okay. How about these? Did anyone know these? How many quarts are in a gallon? How many pints are in a quarter? How many cups are in a pint? Amanda knows, but I think it's because she's a math tutor. So we're going to, oh, it's not because she's a math tutor. Okay, I'll let you answer, Amanda.
I know it because I worked in the paint department, so we had to know all of this.
Nice, because you can buy a pint, right? Or a quart or a gallon of paint.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are they? Oh, Sunita said 4 quarts in a gallon.
2 pints in a quart, and then 2 cups in a pint.
Nice. Yeah, how many of you knew all of those? You just were too shy to say it. Okay, Madison did. It's okay. I'll call you out, Madison. All right, so this is probably one of the hardest things. Kids don't know this, and it's awkward. I knew it when I was a kid because I had to make Kool-Aid in my house, right? We had packets of Kool-Aid and a pitcher, yeah? And so I knew if I had the gallon pitcher, how much stuff I needed to put in there, right? Because my recipe called for 2 quarts, right? So then I knew a gallon was doubling that. So see, Kool-Aid taught me so much. And I always wanted to make the Kool-Aid instead of my mom because my mom always halved the amount of sugar that you put in the Kool-Aid. That's just wrong. You could always tell who made the Kool-Aid, me or my mom, because my Kool-Aid was much better. Anyway, I am going to show you, has anyone ever heard of Gallon Man? Okay, who remembers Gallon Man? Now, your Gallon Man might be different, right? Some people, have anyone ever just heard of the Big G? Yeah, okay, the Big G or Gallon Man. So the Big G, kind of like this, right? And then inside the Big G, there were 4 Qs, and those were quarts. And then inside each Q, there were 2 Ps. And then in each side of the 2 Ps were 2 Cs. I hope you're seeing the connection here. This is an excellent visual for your kids. Did anyone build an actual Gallon Man in elementary school? Yeah, okay. I love seeing those. Gallon Man hung up in our kitchen forever. My kids loved their Gallon Mans. They never wanted to throw them away. I did eventually throw them away. Okay, Tyler, I'm so happy you said that. Depending on how you learned it, you might have learned something different. So, but you can see there's 2 cups in a pint. That's where there's 2 C's inside a P. There's 2 P's inside a Q, so 2 pints in a quart. And then 4 Q's inside the G. Did anyone learn a story about this? No one learned a story about it? About princesses and kingdoms? S.A., did you learn one?
Yeah, but I
Andrew.
forgot what we called the king, like what his name was.
Yeah, I can't remember either because I didn't learn it that way, but I've had students tell me this over the years. It was like the kingdom of Gallon or something, you know, whatever it was. And in this kingdom, there were 4 queens, right? Do you remember any more, Essay?
Yeah, and each queen had 2 princesses. Each princess had 2 children, and then each children had a certain number of outfits.
Oh my gosh, that's totally different than what I remember. Okay, our princess didn't have children, they had cats. I don't know why, but then the princess had cats. And then I don't remember the cats and the outfits, but that's awesome. Does anyone know how many ounces are in a cup? Tell us, Amanda.
Isn't it 8?
It is. So probably each princess had 8 outfits, right? I'm sorry, each cat. Or I mean each kid. Sorry. Cats probably don't have that many outfits. But so you can make up stories for this. I'll put another one in the chat that's from a mathy place, and there's 2 per page on this one. And I can put it in the notebook too, but you can look at it and see what you think. It's Gallon Man, and there are 2 on each one of these pages. So, but this is something that's hard for us to remember. So you need to come up with some saying something or something to help students. That's not what I meant to put in the chat. It's this one. Okay, so there's Gallon Man. He's sideways because I can't turn him right now. But there's Gallon Man. You can see there's like a person. He's like a superhero right at the bottom. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the point is if you grew up in the United States, if you grew up outside the United States, you have different experiences. We know that. And even if you grew up in different parts of the United States, you have different experiences. But to say this, if you grew up in the United States, you learned a little bit of both systems, right? You learned the customary system, which is this, our US system, but you also learned the metric system, yeah? And in our stores, we see both. Did you ever notice that? If you buy milk, what size container does it come in? It's not a trick question.
A gallon.
Yeah, it comes in a gallon, right? How about soda? What do you buy soda in?
Leader.
Yeah, liters or 2 liters. So if you grew up in the United States, you've seen both of these your whole life, and so you don't really know either of them very well. I mean, that's just facts, right? Unless you have personal experience like Amanda working in a paint store, right? Or someone who bakes a lot, or someone who sews a lot. You know, these types of personal experiences are the only way we know. Has anyone been told the story that we're all switching to the metric system eventually? How many of you have heard that story? Yeah. Are we there yet? No. Are we ever going to be? No, we're not. That's a big fat lie. I don't know who is telling you that. Now, in the scientific community, we are all in the metric system. Yeah. So if you do any research or anything like that, it's all in the metric system. So we can be standard across the world. But in the US, we're probably never going to change. Anyone think of why we might not ever change? Anyone have a reason why we might not ever change?
The familiarity, isn't it? We're just too comfortable with the system we're already using, so I don't think we're going to change that. And cost to change all the textbooks and reteach it all to all the schools.
Yeah,
And
great
signs.
American capitalism. We're not changing our road signs, baby. Right? It ain't going to happen. Can you imagine how many billions of dollars we would have to put into this if we were going to change all those signs? That's insanity. Yeah. Anyone drive south of Tucson and you see it all in kilometers? Yeah. And you're like, oh, wait, I don't know. Can I look? Do I even know how far that is? Now, some of you have experiences outside the US, right? And you grew up with the metric system, and the metric system is way more normal to you. Yeah. And the metric system is really nice because it's just based on powers of 10, right? So how many of you, when you learned the metric system, you learned to do this? How many of you did this? Yeah, and you had no mathematical idea what was happening, right? So I want you to check in with the mathematics. But what I'm going to want you to do right now is I'm going to put you in your breakout rooms again, same teams, and I want you to answer these problems. If you don't know where this is from, I can put it in the chat for you right now. And it's also in OneNote. So if you're using OneNote, you could just pull it up there. And there are metric system ones on there as well. If you get finished with the other ones, go ahead and try the metric systems one. Betty, that's a great story. Do you want me to share it with everybody? Yeah, so Betty said she got pulled over in Mexico because she wasn't paying attention to the speed limit. She was looking at miles per hour instead of kilometers per hour. That'll get you every time, man. Yeah, be careful.
Every time I went to go visit Mexico with my family, I had notes in my phone to remember like how to order food over there, like the miles when I was driving there, even like with temperature, trying to explain temperatures. And here in the US, I had like a little notes conversion to help me.
That's great. That's great. I love that. No, you're not going to turn it in. We're just going to go over it. So, okay, I'm going to open your rooms to work on that. Here's what I want you to think about: showing all your work, whether you're drawing a picture or showing your conversions. Okay, do it. Call me in if you need help. Woohoo, everyone's back. It's a party back here. You guys are like, this is the best day ever. Class is over already. I feel like we didn't see her at all. So that was perfect. Yeah. So breakout rooms are great as long as you're being productive. And I hope you maybe chatted about your tree diagrams more if you needed to, or finished up whatever you needed to. So good job. We'll do the big reveal. Here's the answers. So on your final, we do have some like this. And I make you, for example, on number 5, where I say 7 cups is how many pints, and it's 3.5 pints, I don't let you do any decimals, and I don't let you do, yeah, this one, that's wrong. Is that what you're talking about? That one? Thanks, Betty. Yeah, I don't know where that answer came from. So this one, I wouldn't accept this as an answer, and I wouldn't accept this as an answer. I want it 3.5. So make sure you're careful when you do that. I didn't give it in this directions, but on the final, I know those are the directions that I give, just so you know. Okay, what should the answer to number 6 be? 2 quarts is how many gallons? Half a gallon. Very nice. Very nice. I don't know why it says 8. I must have had a little problem right there. Okay, now we didn't do the metric system and it's time to go. So if you get the one wrong on the exit ticket for the metric system, it's okay. No worries, okay? So there's your exit ticket. It should be quick. We'll review the metric system tomorrow at the start of class. Great job. See you tomorrow.
I can't see the QR code.
Oh, maybe because I didn't show you. Hilarious. Sorry about that. There you go.
Yeah, the link is not in the chat either.
Oh,
at least I don't see it.
Because I didn't hit enter. I apparently have had a big problem right now. Okay, there you go. Thank you for telling me.
have a question.
I'm ready.
For the assignment that's due Friday, I believe it's the developing area formulas.
Yes.
For that one, so it says complete the activities on the slides. So do we do it on the slides, or because it says upload these on your notebook, or do we just do all our work on the notebook and submit it?
You can just do it in your notebook and
Okay,
submit it. I don't care, whichever way you do it. I would do it in my notebook if it was me.
Yeah, just because like I have like, you know, written, so I don't do like my online notebook. So I was just wondering if we could do that.
Yep, you can.
Okay, thank you.